In recent years, there's been a lack of games that leave a lasting impression on gamers. However, as we all know, the classics from the old school platforming era are always going to remain a major part of gaming culture. And with the power of emulation, we can always revisit these at any time. But now, there's a brand new PC gem created by a hardcore gamer, which carries a very nostalgic flavor with it, and reminds us why we still love playing these things. I Wanna Be the Guy. The movie. The game. It's a freeware title created by a developer who goes by the username Kayin, and it pays tribute to many of the old school games we all know and love. It's quickly become a cult classic that's already had a lot of stuff made about it on YouTube and other popular sites, and there's a lot of good reasons for that. First of all, while it pays tribute to many of the classic games, it never lets up in poking fun at them either, as evidenced in both the opening intro sequence that took the Mega Man 2 style, and this delightful sequence right here that makes fun of the Legend of Zelda intro that we all remember. So yeah, you might find yourself laughing a lot while playing this game. But hey, we haven't even gotten into the gameplay yet. So you have 3 save files to work with, much like many of the old games you played on other consoles. And you have difficulty levels to choose from too at the start. You can go medium. I wouldn't recommend that because it puts a bow tie on you, and there's tons of save points in that. And that's the difference between all of these different difficulties. Hard as some save points, very hard as very few, and impossible as none at all. Trust me, it will be impossible to beat the game if you choose that. But, on with the game then. We can start with hard. Because it doesn't look that hard, right? Sure, you got this right here, save point, and you have to shoot the save point in order to make it work. It looks like a harmless little innocent platformer. Very cute style to it. And it shouldn't be that hard to get started with it. I forgot to mention, apples kill you. And when I say apples kill you, I really mean anything can kill you. You should almost expect everything to kill you in almost every way possible. You have to be pretty tricky sometimes, and it takes a lot of practice to get through some rooms, but yeah, that wasn't so bad, right? So, the lesson from this: get used to seeing that screen right there. It won't become your friend, but it'll certainly become the equivalent of like your roommate maybe. Apples won't be the only thing in the way of the kid's quest to become the guy. In fact, a huge assortment of traps will greet you in every room you enter. By the time you're done with a few rooms, the sprite used for spikes may very well be embedded in your brain. Perhaps not literally for you, but quite literally for our hero. What will our hero have to use against these demonic room layouts? Well, he has a tiny cape and an even tinier gun. But a ton of awesome moves, such as being able to shoot a bullet and being able to shoot 2 bullets. I think he can get off 3 bullets too sometimes, even though it may just be an illusion. The controls are fairly simple in this game, just as you expect in any type of platformer like this. You'll be using the left and right arrow keys to move your character around a lot, but you also have the Z key, which lets you shoot bullets, which is mainly used for bosses, although it can kill some other random stuff, and you use it to shoot save points, of course. And then the left shift key allows you to jump. You can also do a double jump, meaning that you have 1 extra jump when you're already in midair. You'll be using that a lot in many rooms, including this one right here. But, of course, as always, you must be aware of traps. Luckily, if you find playing the game with a keyboard is too hard, you always have the option of going to File and then Controls and playing with either a joystick or controller. It has full support for both, and you can change it on this screen. Though the difficulty will undoubtedly be the very first thing you notice, you'll still be spotting plenty of elements from late 80s and early 90s console games. Several areas of the game are themed around particular classics. For instance, this part has a theme for Kirby's Adventure, although that's mostly based around the background music. As a side note, you'll be learning a very essential wall jumping technique in this area. There's a lot of other big-time favorites that are included, such as The Legend of Zelda. One of the more challenging areas is based around ghosts and goblins. As a word of warning, players may go insane faster in this area than in any other of the game due to the crazy psychological effects the music may have on your brain. Naturally, Mega Man 2 is used since the game's intro is based around it. Kayin even manages to throw Tetris into the mix. And there's still plenty of others for players to discover. The game's boss battles are generally as difficult and nostalgic as the rest of its areas. Familiar characters from gems that all hardcore gamers reminisce about are your main opponents throughout the quest. But I don't want to spoil who all of them are for you, seeing as how few there are to begin with. Just remember not to be discouraged about how hard these guys can be. The same advice applies to tricky rooms throughout the entire game. There may be times when you think you've had everything figured out, only to find you never even had a clue. One of the things that might just keep you going through this tough venture is the variety of hilarious ways in which you can die. Even after you've already fallen victim to the same one a few times, you still may find yourself laughing out loud once it happens. Let's face it, even if you know it's coming, there's some things you should just never expect to happen. If seeing your own mishaps isn't enough to drive you, perhaps hearing the incredibly awesome Game Over music is. And if that doesn't work, then damn it, just do it because you want to be the guy. The long and treacherous journey to become the guy will be frustrating, exhilarating, rewarding, nostalgic, and even a bit entertaining at times. But one thing's for sure, it's not going to be easy. You can download the game by going to the site URL shown here. Kayin's site also has some additional information to read if you want to know a little bit more before trying it. Just in case you can't remember the address, it's good to know that the site will be the first result that comes up if you do a Google search for I Wanna Be the Guy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the game, even as you're tearing your hair out while you're playing it.